Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Philip Olaide Adeyeye, and I'm glad to have you again on my channel. The goal of this channel is to empower you with all that you need to be a winner in life, as you are born to win in life. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 4 simple questions you are to answer before making any decision in your life. Every day of our life, we make decisions whether to travel, whether to enter a relationship, whether to do something or not, and all that. And as we know that it is the sum total of the decisions that we make in life that determines what we become. So the decision to go to school or not, the decision to learn a trade, decision to invest and all that, that is what determines what we become in life. And so decision making skill is one of the most important skill that every one of us has to learn. This video is actually the continuation of the last video I made where I spoke about 3 simple steps to take to make a change in your life. So if you are yet to listen to that video, you might want to do that after this video. But don't worry, if you are yet to listen to it, you can continue with this one. And so actually in that video, the second step I cited rather, is that for you to make a change in your life, you must decide to make the change. You must decide. I emphasize on the difference between deciding to do something and wanting to do something. It's one thing to want to, it's another thing to decide. Because it is what you decide to do that you actually do. Because it is decision that precedes action. So do you get that? So in this video, I'm going to now talk about 4 simple questions. This 4 simple question is actually a decision making tools used by one of the most famous medical doctor on the surface of the earth. Yeah, he's one of the most famous. So I think you can guess. Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson is a successful neurosurgeon who successfully was the first person to successfully separate two twins through craniopagus twins. That is two babies that are joined together on their head. So he was the first person and probably the only person that successfully separates them. And so, but before, in case you don't know him, let me just quickly introduce.
Dr. Benjamin Solomon Carson, popularly known as Ben Carson, was born on September 18, 1951 in Detroit, Michigan. He had an unimaginable humble beginning. He was raised by a single mother, with dire poverty, poor grades and low self-esteem. Though at a very tender age, he was inspired by the mission stories in church that frequently featured missionary doctors who traveled the world at great personal expense to bring not only physical, but mental and spiritual healing to others. The fulfillment, however, seemed unlikely. Well, not until he experienced a paradigm shift by a decision made by his mother, with only a third-grade education, who, after she observed successful people and their behavior, encouraged her children, Ben Carson and his brother, to emulate them. She reduced the number of hours they are permitted to spend on the television weekly, and imposed it on them to read and give report of a minimum of 2 books weekly. This led to behavior changes, which had a profound effect on his education. In 1973, Ben Carson graduated from Yale University. He then proceeded to University of Michigan, where he received his MD. Dr. Ben Carson great feat began when at the age of 33, he became the chief of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Hospital, making him the youngest major division director in the hospital's history. In 1987, Dr. Ben Carson performed the first and only successful separation of craniopagus, Siamese, twins joined at the back of the head, and 10 years later, he performed the first fully successful separation of type 2 vertical craniopagus twins in South Africa. He did many other outstanding accomplishments, which earned a place in medical history. In his medical career, Dr. Ben Carson earned 4 professorship titles and several awards: Professor of Neurosurgery, Oncology, Plastic Surgery and Pediatrics at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. He also authored about 10 books, some of which were co-authored by his wife, Candy Carson. He retired from medical practice in 2013, and since then, he is into politics. Dr. Ben Carson founded Carson Scholars Foundation, and also American Cornerstone Institute. His impact is greatly felt worldwide, and his life has inspired so many others across the globe. To know more about him, you can read any of his books, the most famous being Gifted Hands, which contains the autobiography of his life.
Alright, now that we know who Dr. Ben Carson is, I think let's quickly go straight to its decision making tool. So this decision making tool, like I said, is simply asking for questions, but he gave it the name best or worst analysis. And it is simply asking yourself and answering these four simple questions. Number one, what is the best thing that will happen if I make this decision? Number two, what is the best thing that will happen if I don't make this decision? Number three, what is the worst thing that will happen if I make this decision? And number four, what is the worst thing that will happen if I don't make this decision? Yes, very simple. You don't have to be a genius to apply this. You don't have to be a medical doctor. You don't have to be a medical student. It's very simple. And you can use it from your day to day activity. So let me give you a very practical example. And I got the beautiful idea of starting this YouTube channel, all right? Considering the fact that I'm a medical student and the demand of medical school is not small. Medical school is very demanding and all that. So I was contemplating on whether to start this YouTube channel or not. And so what I simply did was just to apply this to which you can also apply. So I asked myself, what is the best thing that will happen if I start my YouTube channel? Number two, what is the best thing that will happen if I don't start my YouTube channel? Number three is what is the best thing that will happen? What is the worst thing that will happen if I start my YouTube channel? And number four is what is the worst thing that will happen if I don't start this YouTube channel? And so let me give you my answer. So for the first question, what is the best thing that will happen if I start this YouTube channel? Oh, I know I will feel fulfilled. I'll be able to touch lives across the globe as this is a global platform. And so I'll be able to impact, I'll be able to unleash my potential of helping people to win in life. That's my potential actually. It's part of my potential. So I'll be able to touch other people's life. I'll be happy, I'll feel fulfilled and all that. And in fact, the energy that I generate from this can also be applied, can also be used as an impetus in my academics. So for the second question, what is the best thing that will happen if I don't start this YouTube channel? Okay, I will just continue just the way I am. I will have time for my academics, probably I will have more time to read, to study and all that. So I think that's the best thing. So what is the worst thing that will happen if I start this YouTube channel? Number one is that I will be distracted as content creating is very demanding. So I'll be distracted. I might not have more time for my academics and all that. And so the last question is, what is the worst thing that will happen if I don't start this YouTube channel? I know I might lose this idea forever. And again, is considering the fact that speaking with other senior colleagues, especially those in medical practices already, I've heard them talk about the fact that as you go further in this medical profession, the demand gets higher. And so there's every tendency that I might not have time to do this. This idea might have to die and all that. And it was my answers to these four questions that propelled me to start my own YouTube channel. And like I said, deciding is taking action. In summary, before you take any decision, before you take any risk, you ask yourself four simple questions. Number one is what is the best thing that will happen if I take this decision? Number two is what is the best thing that will happen if I don't take this decision? Number three is what is the worst thing that will happen if I take this decision? And number four is what is the worst thing that will happen if I don't take this decision? You can simply use these decision making tools to make simple decision and even complex decision, and you will be amazed at the results that you will get. And you might be wondering, how did I come across these tools used by this great man, Dr. Ben Carson? I did when I read one of his book, Take the Risk, and you can also get it and read it. It is going to bless you. And before you go, I want you to do three things. Number one is like the video. Number two is, this is the important thing, I want you to drop a comment in the comment section by using these simple tools on a decision you are about to make, answering those four questions and typing your answer, and let's see how you could apply it And lastly, if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, kindly do that. Remember, you are going to win. See you soon.